let's go back to your campaign. Did you feel you were going to win the election?
Oh yes. I've already been invited out to the Capitol, and I was going to leave everything just the way it was. And I'd already been invited up to look at the office, and I was going to make Brownie Points by not spending $1 on it. Of course, that's just me. You might say I'm an old fogey type. I'm very conservative.
Did you get a lot of support at that time from national?
Did we get it? Did we get it? We were getting support from every source. Can't think of the man right now that was so well known that took polls and was so very successful in it.
Probably Gallup.
No, it wasn't Gallup. It was a man as good as he was. And he'd been with Oklahoma for many, Otis Sullivan. He was making polls all over the state, and I was so far in the lead that there was no one even close to me. And he came out to see me one day. Now, this sounds harsh, but this is when Mr. Gaylord fell out with me. He said, it's hard to take a part of this pie without telling you the whole story.
Sure.
Now, Mr. Gaylord fell out with me because of a number of reasons. One was Standard Draper wanted to annex Midwest City into Oklahoma City in order to give him more population, in order that he get more funds for the urban renewal. And obviously, people out there expected me to head up the group that would fight it. So then we did. And at one time, it was sort of funny though, we got all the surrounding cities to join us, and we bring in a tight belt around Oklahoma City. It worked in reverse. In fact, we took Draper Lake into Midwest City. There for a while, we owned it. Now, that sounds crazy to you, doesn't it? Well, that's why Mr. Gaylord didn't like me.
What do you think about today? Can the newspaper get a candidate defeated or elected today, the Daily Oklahoman?
Not necessarily. No. But in this occasion, though, Mr. Gaylord called Otis in and told him, says, listen, I want Bill Atkinson's polls to drop. And Otis's wife was crying. That's the first time I ever told this story. His wife came in crying, said, honey, you can't do that. He said, but listen, I still owe a mortgage on the house, and I can't pay it. That's the only place I get a job. I said, well, Otis, I didn't know him very well. He was so good and so straight in the way he operated that I said, now, Otis, I could offer you a job, couldn't I? He said, yes, but what would you think about that? I said, that would be worse than you stand and taking after me. Mr. Gaylord could wrap that around both of our necks. He said, I agree 100%, and I'm so glad you feel that way about it. He said, I just had to come and tell you what's going to happen to you. You're going to lose the race. And that time we're way ahead, if you can believe that. So then he said, guess how he got... Otis said, how can I keep him from showing the... He said, go to Howard Edmondson's offices and find out who his supporters are. First time I ever told this, even to a person like this without a TV on. And that he did. That's where he took his polls. And of course, he jumped to the top.
You feel that that made all the difference in the world in the election?
Oh.
We're going to take a break. You know, you mentioned...
That's a very unfortunate thing, that polls mean so much to people. Sometimes
people read the polls, and then it reflects the way they feel because they want to go with the polls. You know, I could sit here and name names like Lyndon Johnson and John F. Kennedy and J. Howard Edmondson, which you have referred to, and I know you've been in private audience with all of those people. I want to take a break. We got to, because of the confines of television, got to take a break. I want to come back, and I would like for you just to do a brief reflection, personal reflection on what you remember most about Lyndon Johnson and John F. Kennedy and people like J. Howard Edmondson. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with W.P. Bill Atkinson. Stay with us.
You know.
We're back at the Kool-Aid Wacky Warehouse Mall to check out all the wild new stuff. At the Anything and More floor, we've got...
Anything
and more. And the hit at Club Kool-Aid is new...
Rocket Owl Red. Yeah.
The Wacky Warehouse Mall, the wackiest mall of all.
And now, Kool-Aid brand soft drinks and KOKH 25 are sponsoring Wild Summer Fun with the Oklahoma City 89ers. Each kid can see an evening game for free on July 16th and 23rd and August 5th with 12 Kool-Aid points in the purchase of one adult admission.
Yay!
Kool-Aid points are found on all packages of Kool-Aid.
The 5th annual Search for the Stars will be here before you know it.
The junior preliminary competition will be August 3rd and 4th. The adult category preliminary competition is August 10th and 11th. And the finals competition for all categories will be August the 17th. There are 11 different categories to choose from, so enter now. For more information, call the Del City Chamber of Commerce at 677-1910. The 5th Annual Del City Search for the Stars. Sponsored by the Del City Chamber of Commerce, KOKH 25, and Lincoln National Bank. Welcome back, everybody, to Sunday PM. We're talking to W.P. Bill Atkinson, the founder of Midwest City, also the publisher of the Oklahoma Journal, former candidate for governor on the for the Democratic Party, and now building a city within a city out in Quail Springs, in the Quail Springs area. I hope that's not classified information there.
Quail Springs area, it is Quail Springs.
It is Quail Springs.
It is Quail Springs.
Okay.
And since you mentioned that, let me get a plug in.
Okay.
We're going to have 5,200,000 square feet of office space in the office park. We have, I say we, I'm talking about Quail Springs. My job is to come up with the ideas and convince other people they should follow the suggestions and buy the ground from me. I think that's the simplest, easiest way to operate and still stay, not go broke, right? So we have an unusual mall out there, over 1 million square feet, Quail Springs Mall. And Mr. Dayton kept me right by his side, and I researched all over the United States what was wrong with other malls, and you're going to get a kick out of this now. Other malls I went to, I didn't go to the guy that built them, just like going asking a mother, is that child smart? Is the child pretty? Of course it is. I went to the people who were managers of the store, and I said, if you come to Quail Springs in Oklahoma, you may be manager of Ward's or Sears or Penny's, what would you like for change over the present mall? He said, for God's sakes, get all the eating of the gum and the ice cream and everything that kids can mess up your carpets with a half a mile away from me. Well, that's why it's in the basement. But it doesn't look like the basement. But we ran the elevator down so it would not look like a basement. It looked like a 3-story building. Then the next idea was, this was my idea. Now I'm bragging again. But I wished I'd have gotten this patent on this because everybody's copied it now in the last 12 years. You look down a mall. Leave it to you. You walk in any mall, you've been in most of the malls, and it looks like a mile down the other end. And you just get tired mentally. Yes. And so therefore you
physically if you walk it.
Yes. So you go back and you get in your car, particularly if it's a hot day, you want to get on home anyway. So I suggested a lot of corners. And the architecture firms asked me, said, how many malls you built? I said, none. He said, well, that's crazy. It costs too much money. I said, I built a lot of other type shopping centers, and that's not crazy. The corner sells for the most amount of money. And psychologically, it's best for them all. So Dayton bought my idea, and we did that. And now you go to Quail Springs, you'll shop from one end to the other.
Guess what? We're not going to get to hear about John F. Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson because we're out of time. But you got your plug in for them all. And we're all out of time. But golly, what an interesting life you have had and are still continuing to have. And as I said earlier, most people, start taking it easy at 65 and you're just rolling on. And we congratulate you for your vitality and your strength. And also,
the reason I pulled that last one on you? You wouldn't let me tell a story.
Well, I apologize. I've gave you equal time, and it's been great talking with you. And I wish you continued success.
Oh, well, thanks.
And thanks for being on the show. So we feel like we got a scoop by having you on today.
Well, thank you.
We'll be back again next week with another edition of Sunday PM. Next week, we're going to be talking about teen suicide on the show, so be sure to tune in. Until then, I'm Ronnie Kaye, and have a great week this week. Good night.